Aloha, namaste. This is Radha, and I'm here to talk about our new moon, which is coming up on the 27th. It's going to be in the morning here in Hawaii at 9:31 a.m., but Pacific time that'll be 12:31 p.m. Um, we are meeting, the sun and the moon are meeting, I should say, in the star of Bharani. This star is represented by the female, I guess you could say the female yoni. And this is a star that really shows what we're birthing, what we're creating, what our creative energy is going into. And it's also ruled by the god of death, Yama. And Yama shows us where we need to restrain ourselves, where we need to hold back and contain our energy so that we're not just sending it all over the place. So, we can imagine this very easily when we're talking about actual birth and creating a child. We want to take care in who we create the child with, and we want to take care in the process of birthing the child and in caring for the child when it's in our womb. With a creative project or something that you care about a lot, that you're putting your energy in, you're pouring your energy into, who are you working on it with? What are the parameters you're working within? And your vision is one thing, but are you willing to bear the consequences of the result of what comes out? Because, of course, no matter how much we take care on the front end, things aren't always the way they seem or aren't always what we plan on the back end. And so we're really asked to take care in what we're creating here. Now, the interesting thing about this new moon is that actually the moon will be in Ashwini, the star before Bharani, for almost the entire Amavasya Titi, so the entire new moon phase, until the last 30 minutes. And then she goes into Bharani. And Ashwini is a star of focus and forward motion and action. It's the first star of all the 27 nakshatras. It's in the beginning of Aries. And it's ruled by the Ashwini twins, the Ashwin brothers, who are horsemen. And so there's this energy of just fire and going for something and moving towards something. But at the same time, this is a new moon. So our moon is waning to dark. Whatever we're going towards, we still have several planets left in Pisces, the endings, and we might be focused and wanting to go towards something, but there's for sure still some hangups in that. Even though our sun has been in Aries now for a week, we have, you know, more authority, more leadership, more sense of where we're going and why. But there's still probably some things we need to shed, to release, and to let go of before we can truly bring our vision into creation. So this is a really important time to let go of things that are holding you back, whether it's, within your body and needing to shed from a kind of dietary perspective, whether it's in a relationship, shedding patterns that you've been following with one another, or perhaps the relationship altogether. Venus is the ruler of Bharani, and there's definitely that energy of relations and pleasure and happiness and sexuality and sensuality. And so sometimes we want that feeling so much that we kind of bypass our better judgment and we make choices that we then have to bear the consequences of in this star. And so the actual first step of the new moon will be in Bharani because, like I said, it's actually just the nakshatra itself is just beginning at the very end of the lunar phase. So Pratipad, which is that first lunar phase, we have the chance to really make good choices, maybe use that running energy to do something fiery of letting go, and then use that creative energy to take very much care in how we're moving forward. We have after that, the moon moves into, and I'm actually going to share my screen just so you can get a visual of this sort of moving process that takes place here. So this is the actual new moon. It's 9:31 a.m. here in Hawaii. And then we move to the next day, and the moon is still in Aries right here at 9:31 a.m. in Krittika. Krittika bridges Aries and Taurus. So we can see that it won't be too long before she'll be in the Taurus part of it. Krittika is exalted, excuse me, the moon is exalted in the Krittika, the part of it that's in Taurus. And this is also a star of cutting, cutting ourselves off from something. In the story around this star, this is the birth of Mars, of Kartikeya, the son of Parvati and Shiva. But as the story goes and how it begins is with this deception. This beautiful nymph named Swaha deceives Agni, the fire god, who's the ruler of this star, into believing that she is each of the sages' wives. And so he mates with her, and she then uses his seed and deposits it in this lake, which is where Kartikeya gets born from. She's unable to break the force of bond between one sage and his wife. Asitya and Arundhati have such a strong bond that she's unable to break that bond and personify Arundhati. And so we can see that there's, first of all, the wives of the sages are cut off. They're sent to the sky when their husbands find out that they were unfaithful. They send them off to the sky, even though they weren't actually unfaithful. There was deception involved. And they then become these sisters in the sky who nurture and take care of Kartikeya. And he multiplies himself. So he divides himself, which is another way we could look at this. The name of this, of Kartikeya, has this division of making himself available to all his different parents, because he's born not just of Shiva and Parvati, but the Pleiades, the Krittika, they take care of him. And then there's assistance from Ganga, there's assistance from the earth goddess Bhumi. There's, Agni is a parent to many of the seeds in that lake. Shiva is one of the seeds. So they're all parents to this son, this boy who becomes this little warrior who defeats the demon Tarakusara. And so this star, and isn't really the star of the new moon, I'm not sure why I told the story, but it's an important star to recognize where our delusions are, where the illusions are, and the element of fire helps us see. It helps us see really clearly. And so then after this, we get into the third lunar phase, which is Tritiya. And this is a special celebration every year when the sun is exalted in Aries and the moon is exalted in her sign of Taurus. So they're not necessarily in their exaltation stars, but they're in their exaltation sign. And the moon is 3 lunar phases in, when she's just bright enough to plant those seeds, we have Akshaya Tritiya. And the essence of this celebration is to invest in anything you want to grow. So many people use this as an opportunity to invest in gold or other things that might bring them abundance materially and financially. If we look at the fact that it's an earth sign, you could actually plant seeds and grow an abundance of food, which is equal to money in many ways. It's what we need to use our money on. We can, in the higher elevation of ourselves, really seek the gold of wisdom, that true happiness, that true abundance that's always with us no matter what happens. Often people will pray to Lakshmi, who's the goddess of abundance and fertility and love and beauty. And she, in this Venusian sign of Taurus, is really, showing us how we can put energy into our health and into our abundance in more ways than just wealth. But of course, Taurus is also a sign of money, and we might be wanting that. So it's a really beautiful opportunity to tune into what you really want right now, and what do you need to get rid of in order to put forth that prayer and the actions that will show what you actually are investing your time into. When we use that word invest, it's like, what are we spending our money on? Well, what are we spending our time on? What are we spending our care on? And how much do we care for what we already have? This is a very important question. We want to make sure that we're actually honoring, feeling gratitude and awareness of how much abundance we already have. If we're always living in this lack of or wanting, the space of wanting more and more and more and more, then we move into more of the energy of, say, Rahu, who's been on Venus this week as I am sharing this. And also, Venus has been with Saturn, where we feel that sense of lack sometimes. And so we want to really take this moment where she's finally kind of broken free of all of her, all of the more dour energies that she's hanging out with, and allow ourselves to really own this exaltation of Venus, where she's in Pisces and her exalted sign, finally not retrograde or joined Rahu or Saturn, and seeking wisdom or seeking happiness, I should say, that is higher than just the fleeting happiness that comes when we have something, like pleasure or food or money. These kind of things are fleeting. Even if you're with your beloved, the actual moments of intimacy come and then go, and you have ups and downs in that. And so we have to be okay within ourselves to such a degree that we find that happiness in everything. And we find that gratitude and that sense of abundance in everything. And since Venus and Jupiter are an exchange of signs, and Jupiter is going to be, of course, joined this moon because he's already here and he's been here for a year, perhaps showing us the places where we're a little greedy or a little gluttonous or a little wanting more and trying to collect more, more, more. And we have an opportunity to kind of temper that now and look at what choices have we made in the last year? What have we grown? What have we gained? And where are we ready to shed, first of all, before the new moon? And then what do we want to actually carefully plant and create in our new path forward, without feeling restricted or overly controlling about it, but just really tuning in to like what brings us closer to the truth of happiness. And we've been around here long enough to know what doesn't. And yet we often still chase the things that don't actually bring us lasting happiness. So Akshaya Tritiya is a really beautiful time to plant the seeds of what you want to invest your time into, what you want to grow, ever growing, whatever you put forth on this day is ever growing. So you can make it a prayer for yourself and your family. You can make it a prayer for things that you want to bring into your life. You can make it a prayer for abundance. There's nothing wrong with that. The main thing to remember is that we show what we already care about by our life, by what we've brought into our life and what we've cared for in our life, what we've taken care of. And we want to continue to take care of the things that we have and not just kind of, spend them or use them and throw them out. We want to really honor all the beauty around us and all the beauty within us. And from there, we can make new choices that really allow us to blossom into the next level of our happiness and joy. And so wishing you a blessed new moon portal and a very blessed Akshaya Tritiya. If you would like to know where these transits occur in your own personal chart, I have a member group at patreon.com, Radha Home Astrology. If you sign up for Cosmically Aligned, I do live discussions. I just did one on this very topic on Venus and Lakshmi and Akshaya Tritiya, and we dive really deep into this topic I just raised. And I also do weekly reports for each of these transits. So the new moon report I've done since it's happening on Sunday. I've done it this past week, but that would be available to you. And then Akshaya Tritiya for each of the signs I'm going to do also for this coming week, so that people can really tune into like what area of their life this is and what that would look like to manifest using the energy of the sun and the moon. And all these planets still in Pisces and Venus and Jupiter being in their each other's signs and things like that. So You're welcome to join me there. And if not, I'll see you again soon. Namaste.